Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on December 17, 2015, 1:10 a.m. Topic, briefly, something I need to disclose on Cern, and after that, I want to talk about other things about basically the end times. And but first, on my notes that I took, I told you I spent 5.5 hours. I ended up spending more than that. I just finished again. But there's something I did put down that I didn't disclose, and but I'm going to do that right now. Two things. Number one, they were having a question and answer session, and one of the gentlemen, the second in command that helped, kind of put all this together, somebody asked him some questions. He said, "Well, I tell you what, I can give you two answers to that. One answer is what we tell you, and the other answer is the truth." So they wouldn't elaborate, but when he said, "What does this do? What is this supposed to do? What is this going to bring?" God just said, "Just what we tell you is one answer. The second answer is the truth." And that was it. But then there was the lady that actually ran the first test. There are four parts on Cern interceptors where the rails actually can cross over. Point one is called Atlas. There's a point two, it's the LHCB intersection. Point three is the CMS intersection. And point four is I call it Alice, that's the way it's spelled, but they called it Elise. This lady ran the test at point A, Atlas intersection. Here's what she said. She said, this person that I am listening to, who was doing the Atlas experiment, and that's the number one experiment, by the way. She says, I'm in a room with seven story cameras, huge 7-story cameras. And that camera takes a snapshot of every collision. And there are billions of those collisions. And the hope is that we will see the famous Higgs particle. But every time we run the accelerator and get a high energy that they're looking for, the time to make the experiment, to crash them, we've always been surprised. The real hope is that we will get the Higgs, but every time we always get something amazingly new, not what we thought. So I wanted to let you know about that. I wanted to throw that in. That is on the Cern collider. Now, here's where I'm going. Revelations chapter 4, verse 1, the people, the church, the ones who are saved are out of here. And the church is not mentioned again in all of Revelations until chapter 19, verse 4. Now, the first thing that will happen after we have gone are the seals. You have 6 seals, or 7, but 6 are events. The 7th is announcing the next event, which will be the trumpets. So you have 6 trumpets. Each brings events. And all of them are bad, by the way. And the 7th trumpet gives over to the 7 vials. That comes in the latter part of the tribulation, called the Great Tribulation, because they progressively get worse. So on the 7th, also, 7th seal announced the trumpet, and on the 7th trumpet, it also announced the 2 witnesses. So we kind of know where we are in time in Revelations. So, and there's one more. There's seven thunders. And I don't hear people teaching on it, but I read it all the time. And I try to make it out, but I can't make it out because the Bible won't let me. Chapter 10, verse 4. This is in Revelations. And he's talking to John. God is. He says, he says, and when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. So don't tell anyone what you heard or saw or what you know. God has reserved that for him. And so I want to tell you something else. Besides what people are thinking that Cern can do, look at all the things that's going to happen already. Number one, you're going to have mass confusion, mass hysteria, mass panic on a level that we've never seen. Within 10 seconds of the rapture of the church, because within that 10 seconds, there are going to probably be a few million automobile wrecks all at one time. And then 10 seconds later, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of planes falling from the sky. Remember when God said at one point that there would be blood and fire coming from the sky? How else could blood and fire come from the sky except a plane was coming down with people in it to crash? And then you have, beside the mass hysteria, then you're going to have millions, let's say millions, at least thousands upon thousands are going to kill themselves because they know they missed the rapture. And right this minute, 10 minutes later, an hour later, you don't have a God anymore to talk to. I mean, he's there, but it's like, you know that he's not going to speak. He's standing off right now because it's time now to weed out those who wants to follow Satan and those who does not. And the sad thing is the major majority of the people follow Satan. That's why he said even the very elect would be deceived if it were possible. But thanks to God, the elect won't be deceived, at least not all of them. So you have what man has been doing behind closed doors for we don't know how long, DNA splicing. We know there's creatures because they found, like the Montauk monster, one in New Jersey, and I think one maybe in New York. That's what they called it. Just they never figured out what the animal was. And you see all the strange, very strange animals that are being born. I mean, really, obviously that they are mixed with some kind of human. And but then you have a gunfight with aliens. I don't know if you know that. But we know in Dulce, New Mexico, a Snyder was lowered into a hole. I don't know how big around the hole was, but when he dropped down, of course, he carried a gun. I don't know who he was, but he said the first thing I saw were a bunch of damn aliens. He said it scared me. I didn't know what they were, and I pulled my gun and started firing. They fired at me, and they nearly killed him. But yet, when he was telling his story, then it was someone else hunting him down to kill him. And they did. You can look up Snyder, Dulce, New Mexico, alien gunfight, and read the story. Hear the story. See the blogs. And you'll see that they finally found him dead, a suicide. Yeah, with a piano string wrapped around his neck. And that's true. So there's no telling what is down in those cities underground. This one is supposed to have 7 levels. The 6th level is supposed to house all the beings that has been created or made by crossing DNA. Well, besides that, the river Euphrates is going to send out the 4 angels that are in it. And then you have, now, people are saying that the 4 angels that are going to bring destruction are actually Syria, Iran, Iraq, and Turkey. That's what they're saying. And if I'm not mistaken, Euphrates runs through some of these, if not all these countries. Anyway, there's going to be enough there. Now, that could be talking in part about ISIS. I don't know. But there's going to be so many ways that's going to kill so many people. You're going to have the weather going crazy. That's going to kill a lot of people. You're going to have earthquakes. You're going to have volcanoes going off. You're going to have tsunamis. And then you're going to get into the droughts. Then you're going to get into the viruses. Then you're going to get into this and get into that. Millions upon millions. In fact, when it's over, half of the world's population of 7.2 billion will be dead. And there is a grace period. Today is the grace period. It may end tonight, it may end today, but the grace period, once it's over and you have heard, you know that you had a chance to come to Christ and you refused, and then the rapture of the church takes place, then the grace period is over. After that, those who are able to accept Christ will have to pay with their lives. Anyway, I just had that on my mind, and I wanted to tell you because, guys, time's getting really short for all of us. And there's many, many ways that's going to hurt us. And I don't believe there's a black hole that's going to suck in anything. I believe the Lucifer telescope run by the Vatican is watching portals blink on and off, opening. And I don't think they're billions of light years or millions of light years or even 1 light year away. I think they're close. And I think if they're watching inbound, they're just waiting for something to come out of a portal and come this way. That's my take. I don't know. That's my take. Jody Wolf, Expoz.